About a dozen early childhood institutions may be facing closure after the Early Childhood Commission said the schools are operating without the necessary approvals. As Jamaica Maitland reports, some prominent government-run institutions are high on the list.
12 infant schools across the island have been flagged by the Early Childhood Commission as being delinquent and operating without a permit. The ECC is responsible for monitoring, supervising, and ensuring that schools are compliant with the standards for providing quality education to children. But according to Chairman of the Registrations and Certification Committee at the ECC, David Salmon, several schools are not, including those managed by the government. In Kingston, the St. George's Girls Primary and Infant, in Clarendon, Smithfield Primary and Infant, and in St. Elizabeth, Morningside Primary and Infant, just to name a few.
But what we have found historically is that many government infant departments are in fact in violation of the procedures and the protocols. So in the case where you had highlighted St. George's Infant Department, that's a government-run school. And it cannot be that the government-run institutions are some of the institutions that are in violation of the law.
TVJ News tried to reach out to several of the schools flagged, but there were no available contact information. And for those that we did get, the administrators declined to comment. Mr. Salmon says the schools have been given until the end of February to update their status before facing closure by the Ministry of Education.
Throughout the course of February, by the end of the month, if we find that there are schools that have not applied for registration, then this list will be sent to the Honorable Minister recommending these schools closure, because it's the minister that decides to close the schools. But that is a situation that we are trying to rectify at this moment. We are currently seeing a decrease in the number of delinquent infant departments. Currently, that number stands at 12, but we think that this is unacceptable and we cannot have government-run schools that are also in violation of the regulations.
The ECC says many of the rural schools are also operating without the necessary approvals from the municipal corporation, and parents and guardians may be unaware. But the Commission says not only is the quality of education being impacted, but there are also safety issues.
If there are issues with infrastructure, then these schools would not receive the necessary approval, whether it be from the municipal corporation or from the environment. So that impacts registration. But it also illustrates the challenges in the broader early childhood sector, that some of these schools, because they're very remote, there are no nearby early childhood institution where the students can go to. So over the years, students have been going to these schools because there's no ready alternative available in their community. But we think that this cannot stand going into this year, 2020, the year of early childhood development. And that is why we are arduously working towards it to cut down the list.
A recent report by the Jamaica Education Transformation Commission called for improvements to be made to the early childhood education sector, as these are critical years of learning. Jamaica Maitland, TVJ News.